My sister ruined my baby shower with fake paternity test results just because she's jealous. I'm 30 and my sister Minnie is 31. When we were kids, she often said she envied me and that she didn't like me. It hurt a lot, because she was my only sister and I loved and admired her. I always looked up to her with respect and tried to get closer to her, but she constantly pushed me away. When she was in a good mood, she was a great sister, funny and creative. But when we argued, she would say awful things and tried to hurt me physically. She would hit, push, and yank me. I wanted to have a relationship with her, but she always seemed to hate me. Minnie was more outgoing and successful in fashion and style. She loved experimenting with hairstyles and tattoos. Our mom sent me to school early, and Minnie and I ended up in the same grade, which she hated, especially because I was doing better academically. I consistently got A's and B's, while Minnie often got C's and B's. Her strengths were in arts, theater, cooking, sewing, and dancing. I fell in love with violin thanks to our mom who encouraged me to learn an instrument. I also got interested in French and Korean. Minnie was part of the school theater group and spent evenings rehearsing plays until she got expelled after getting into a fight. Minnie found out her boyfriend was cheating on her with another girl from the theater group, and in revenge, she beat the girl up and set her bag on fire. The incident resulted in Minnie having to transfer to a different school after our parents paid compensation to the girl. She had to repeat her final year, and her relationship with our parents worsened. My romantic relationships never lasted more than 6 months, and Minnie was always the reason. Every time I started something serious, she tried to destroy it. Once, I really liked a guy named Derek. Things were getting serious, and we were about to introduce each other to our families. But the day before that, he blocked me everywhere: phone, messages, Facebook. In panic, I went to his house uninvited to ask what happened. He admitted that Minnie had contacted him, expressing concern, and told him stories about my past to make me look bad. She told Derek that I was texting other guys while dating him and even sent inappropriate photos from one of her friends, pretending it was me. I was mortified. I tried to explain it was all a lie, but Derek was confused. Why would my own sister lie? After a long argument, Minnie finally admitted she did it out of jealousy. She thought I was too good for Derek. She didn't even care that she ruined our relationship. That moment was a turning point for me. I realized that if I wanted healthy relationships, I had to stay away from her. We both once dreamed of studying abroad. Minnie had huge potential, but fear of change led her to stay and study computer science in our home country, following our dad's advice. Watching her make the choice made me realize I didn't want our parents deciding my life for me. I worked hard and won a scholarship abroad, but financial limitations kept me from going. So I compromised and enrolled in a university in our country, studying the major I wanted. Still, a year later, I kept searching for opportunities and eventually got a new scholarship. This time, I was able to move and start over. Our parents were sad I was leaving. On my last night home, Minnie apologized to me for everything she'd done. I don't know what prompted that. Maybe she realized I'd be gone for real this time, and she'd be alone with our parents. I didn't want any drama, so I forgave her. While studying abroad, I changed a lot. I lost weight, met new people, found my own style, gained confidence. Graduation was a milestone. But the next year was hard. Finding work was tough. Eventually, I landed a great job and settled in. Meanwhile, Minnie finished her bachelor's back home. She told me she wanted to apply to graduate programs in the country I now lived in. I supported her. She applied to various universities but kept getting rejected and was growing more and more frustrated. One day, she came to visit and stayed with me for 10 days so I could show her the city. She saw how much I had changed. When Minnie mocked my clothes or hair, I ignored her. But it was weird. She tried to control what I wore or how I acted in public. If we went to lunch or had friends over, she'd say she didn't like them and that I should get better friends. Sometimes when I spent time with people, she'd suddenly get strange for no reason. When I showed her my office, she was surprised by how big it was. I told her all about my career growth with enthusiasm, but she stayed silent, didn't congratulate me, didn't smile. Instead, she turned the topic to herself, saying she wished she'd made different choices. Later that night, she said she wanted to extend her vacation and move in with me. I told her politely that if she wanted to stay long-term, she'd need to find her own place. Clearly, she had some kind of issue with me she wasn't willing to discuss. That's when she snapped. She screamed that she was tired of my presence in her life. That everyone always compared her to me. That her accomplishments were never enough. I told her she was the one who always made me feel inadequate. Minnie yelled that I was nothing special, and she could have done everything I did if she'd had the same opportunities. I reminded her we started from the same place. I applied to schools, I chased scholarships, and she didn't. So blaming me made no sense. That enraged her. She called me a spoiled brat and said she wished I had never been born. Those words hit hard. I got up from the table and locked myself in my room. 2 days later, she flew home, never apologizing. Over time, I realized how much we'd both changed, and honestly, I started feeling disgusted by her presence in my life. Eventually, I met my boyfriend James. He worked in the same field I did. Our paths crossed often, and we had mutual friends who introduced us. It was fun to talk to someone who understood my work. At first, I thought we'd just be friends, but he liked me, and the next day, he asked me out. We dated for 2 years before he proposed. I got close to his family since they lived in the same country, and he met mine through video calls. We were already planning the wedding when I got a job offer that paid twice my current salary. The catch? The company was based in my home country. I discussed it with James, and we both agreed it was an amazing opportunity, so I took the offer. I moved back home, and finally, my family met James in person. My parents loved him. Now my dad even plays golf with him every Sunday. Everything was going well at the new job. James soon found a job too. During all that time, Minnie avoided us like the plague. She refused to meet James, even though our parents insisted. She made up random excuses not to see us. We hadn't spoken in a long time, and honestly, I didn't mind. I was scared she'd try to destroy my relationship with James the way she did before. After several months back home, James and I decided to get married. We bought tickets for his parents and grandparents to come. We wanted a small, cozy wedding with just close family and friends, and a short honeymoon because we were both busy with work. We held the wedding in my parents' big garden. They were thrilled. Grandparents, parents, siblings, friends, everyone gave speeches, showered us with love and blessings. The only person missing was Minnie. She told us she was sick and couldn't come. The food was amazing. Everyone danced until midnight. We had a great time. After our honeymoon, about a week later, I was showing my mom photos from the wedding when Minnie showed up. I was telling Mom how happy everyone was when Minnie interrupted and asked if James and I were having financial problems. I laughed and said my new job paid way more than my old one and James was doing fine too. She immediately snorted and said that must not be true, otherwise, why did we get married in our parents' backyard? My mom defended me and said there was nothing wrong with that. I wanted a simple wedding. I agreed and told Minnie that James and I just don't like flashy stuff and prefer to spend money wisely. That seemed to really piss her off. She said I was bragging as usual and probably lying about my salary. I shook my head and said I didn't need to brag to her and that we weren't kids anymore. She needed to grow up and stop making up nonsense about me. I added that I was glad she didn't come to the wedding and that sent her over the edge. She left crying. My mom tried to calm things down, but Minnie wasn't having it. Later, she told our grandparents and some cousins that I was glad she didn't attend and twisted parts of our argument to make me look like the bad guy. I sent her a message apologizing, but she didn't bother to reply. Over the years, I kept my distance from her. Sure, we had a few nice moments, but when James finally met her, he immediately disliked her. It was the way she mocked him constantly. For example, we both loved Disney movies. Minnie said that was lame and that James wasn't manly enough. I was really hurt by that. Later she apologized to both of us, but it felt hollow. She also kept telling my mom that James was controlling me. When my mom confronted her, Minnie said she just had a bad gut feeling every time she saw James. One day, my mom and Minnie came over for dinner. Minnie started talking about how her boyfriend, Larry, had problems. Apparently, Larry had moved in with her, but lost his job 2 months in and wasn't paying any bills. I told Minnie firmly that she should kick him out, he clearly wasn't contributing anything. Then Minnie suddenly asked, "So if you earn more than James, should you kick him out too?" I said that yes, I earn more than James, but he still brings in good money and doesn't sit on the couch eating chips all day. Mom agreed and added that James had sacrificed parts of his own career so I could take this higher paying opportunity. Minnie didn't like that and snapped that men should always earn more and that it was weird James was okay with the dynamic. I told her not all men have fragile egos like the one she dated. James loves me for who I am. Of course, she ignored me and later ended up marrying Larry anyway, even though he was unemployed. Larry also had a temper. We all saw it at their wedding when he got drunk and started a random fight with a waiter. Minnie and a few of his brothers had to calm him down. It was super awkward, and honestly, I got scared for her. But I knew she'd never listen to me, so I said nothing. Over time, fights between Minnie and Larry got worse. Every time they argued, he'd kick her out and she'd go stay with our parents. They were worried too, but she refused to talk to them about it. One day we learned from Larry's mom that Minnie had apparently cheated on him with a coworker. They had a huge blow-up but eventually decided to try therapy and save the marriage. Earlier this year, I found out I was pregnant. James and I were over the moon. My parents congratulated us and said how proud they were to become grandparents. They promised to help us however they could. When Minnie found out, she asked James and me what baby names we liked. We had already talked about a few options, but I didn't want to share them with her. I knew how judgmental she could be. I firmly told her no, and explained that we'd only announce the name after the baby was born and we had made our final decision. Minnie insisted that was a terrible idea. She said we should let the rest of the family weigh in and help choose the best name for the child. I told her clearly, no one was going to help. This was our baby, and we would name him however we wanted. When it came time for the baby shower, a celebration for the mom-to-be where people give gifts, I asked my mom to organize it. I trusted her, and I've never liked event planning anyway. I also asked her to let everyone know not to bring gifts, since we didn't even know the baby's gender yet. I just wanted to have fun with my friends, who I hadn't seen in a while, and maybe get some good advice about motherhood. On the day of the party, I was so happy. My mom had invited only my close friends, just like I asked. We were having a great time, chatting, laughing, until Minnie showed up in a shirt that said "Future Godmother." My eyes widened in shock. I had no intention whatsoever of making her my child's godmother, and she'd never even asked me about it. It was awkward, because she kept telling everyone how she'd always dreamed of being a godmother. Most annoying of all, she never even talked to me about it beforehand. As the party was wrapping up, my mom invited my dad, my husband, and even Larry to come join for the gender reveal. James and I cut the cake, and we were thrilled to find out it was a boy. I cried. My friends hugged me. It was a beautiful moment. Then Minnie stood up. She said she had something very important to share. Everyone went quiet. She looked serious as she pulled out a document and held it in the air. Then she announced that I had supposedly taken a paternity test a few days ago and that the results showed James was not the father. You could hear a pin drop. James turned to me, confused. "What's going on? Is this true?" I shook my head, then turned to Minnie, expecting her to explain herself. My mom asked, "What the hell is this? Why are you making up such insane nonsense?" She snatched the paper from Minnie's hand and instantly saw that the mother listed on the fake test wasn't even me. That's when Minnie started laughing. She told everyone she downloaded a fake paternity test online. It was a prank. A performance. Her goal? To expose James as the abuser he really is. Everyone stared at her, stunned. I asked her if she'd lost her mind. James had never even raised his voice at me, let alone abused me. She started rambling about how no man could be truly happy if his wife earned more money. She said she knew James was controlling me. She started citing random examples, ending with, "Just look how mad he got when I announced the test that proves it." I yelled that James was only mad because she just publicly accused me of cheating and claimed our baby wasn't his. That was humiliating. I told her that James had never insulted me, never kicked me out of our home, maybe she was just projecting her own messed up relationship onto mine. Her face turned red. I kept going. I told her I was sick of her lifelong jealousy. I was done with it. She ruined my baby shower with this nonsense. Then I told everyone about how she used to lie to my exes. How she sabotaged my relationships. Minnie stood there, humiliated. My mom told her she had gone way too far this time. Then, suddenly, Larry, who'd been silent the whole time, stood up. He walked over to Minnie. The room went quiet again. He handed her a folder. Minnie asked, "What's this?" Larry said the couple's therapy obviously wasn't working, and that their relationship was toxic. He had planned to give her the divorce papers later that night, but since she liked making scenes, he figured now was as good a time as any. He said he was done with the drama, and walked out of the party. Dead silence. Everyone looked around, unsure how to react. Minnie stood frozen, holding the divorce papers. Her little performance had backfired completely. Instead of humiliating me, she got humiliated and lost her marriage in the process. The joyful energy of the baby shower instantly evaporated. It became a dark, awkward, heavy moment. I realized I'd had enough. I asked James to take me home, and he agreed without hesitation. I hugged my mom goodbye. She said she'd call later. Minnie tried to approach me and apologize, but I didn't even look at her. As you can imagine, everyone's still talking about what happened. People keep calling to check on me. A few told me Minnie started bawling the second she left and that my parents kicked her out of the house and refused to hear her excuses. I do feel a little guilty for screaming at her. But in that moment, it felt right. So what do you think, was I wrong for exposing her jealousy in front of everyone after she tried to fake a paternity test? Update 1. It's been a month since the baby shower. I spoke with my parents about Minnie, and we all agreed the best thing for all of us is to cut her off completely. She hasn't shown any remorse. In fact, now she's telling people that I caused a scene over a simple prank and that I'd publicly brought up her past in front of her husband, which is why he supposedly divorced her. Since then, Larry talked to my parents and apologized for how he used to treat Minnie. He explained that the reason he kicked her out of the house during their fights wasn't because he was being abusive, it was because she would physically attack him. She punched and kicked him in the face during their arguments, and he didn't feel safe around her. That was shocking to hear. I had always assumed Larry was the problem. But then he showed us photos, a broken nose, bruises. Luckily, Larry cared about her enough not to go to the police, otherwise Minnie would have been in jail a long time ago. It's now very clear that their relationship was toxic from both sides. Honestly, I'm relieved they're divorcing. My parents confronted Minnie and made it clear, they don't want her in their house anymore. She cried, of course, but my mom was still furious after what happened at the baby shower. She told Minnie exactly how she felt and warned her, if she ever came near me or my child, they would get a restraining order. My parents also told her directly that she needs to see a psychiatrist, because her behavior isn't normal. Minnie refused any help and insisted our parents are unfair and always take my side. So, I blocked her on everything. James did too. We've also installed security cameras at home. If she ever shows up, I'll call the police immediately. Update 2, 8 months later. 8 months have passed since the last update, and I'm happy to say, I gave birth to a healthy baby boy. The pregnancy wasn't easy, but I'm overjoyed that our son is finally here. We named him Alex. I still can't believe I'm a mom now. Our house is filled with laughter and baby cries. James and I are learning the ropes of parenthood. It's not easy, but we're loving every moment. My parents have been incredibly supportive every single day as I adjust to this new phase of life. James' parents are flying in to visit us next month. As for Minnie, we haven't heard from her again. Last I heard, she and Larry finalized their divorce, and she packed up and moved to a new city. Maybe she's trying to start over. I don't know. It's sad that my own sister is no longer a part of my life, but as a mother now, my priority is to protect my child. And that means keeping toxic people away, even if they're family. If you made it this far, thank you. What would you have done in my place? Should I have given my sister another chance, or was cutting her off the right call? Let me know in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe, there are more wild true stories coming soon.